Hey there, friends. You are listening to Creating Success in a Mass. And we're so happy that you're here because every week in this podcast, we teach entrepreneurs and small business owners how to grow and accelerate their money flow.
Each week, we talk about strategies that not only help you grow your business, but help you grow as an entrepreneur also. The main goal in business is to enjoy what we do, to love what we do, and to be successful at it. And our goal is to help you get to the place where you want to be.
And an additional thing we also love is you have an opportunity to impact your community. What a great thing that you can take your business, your idea, and you can spread that love with the people around you. Hey there, and welcome to this week's episode of Creating Success in the Mass. Today, we're going to talk about a word called success. Before we get to that, we want to let you know about something super exciting that we have going on right now. We have a Build Your Own Website workshop that we are doing. We have a firm belief that small business owners and entrepreneurs should learn how to build their own websites because, let's just be honest for a second, you're going to be able to brand and put what you do in your website better than any company can. And it's also important because, honestly, you can save a lot of money from having to pay other companies to build it and or manage it. So this workshop is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do it live. And of course, if you're listening to this down the road, it may not be live anymore, it may not be a live workshop, but we can guarantee you we do have it as a course, and so it would still be available to you if that sounds like an interest that fits what you want. Now, going into today's topic of success, we're going to try to put a definition to success, and we're going to see if we come up with something that fits what Whitney's feeling or what I'm feeling. We've kind of already talked about this a little bit, and I think we had a little bit of difference of opinions on this, but we'll kind of see where we go with this today.
Right. So, where do you want to start? Do you want to
Let's just go straight to our argument. So the argument was, I said that success essentially was a thing.
A situation, to be exact.
An accomplishment. So I was going much more of like the noun. It's a subject, right?
Well, I do think, if you look up the definition, it says it's a noun. The accomplishment of an aim or purpose, the good or bad outcome of an undertaking.
I said the word accomplishment, right?
So give them the description you gave me about your picture. Success. What is success?
Right. So we were talking about success, and I said I think success is very situational. So people have an idea, or as the definition said, an aim.
No, don't use the definition. You didn't use the definition when you first described it.
It's a synonym, just using it as the same thing. So people have this idea of what they want in a situation. So it's you ask people why you go to college? To get a degree, right? If I get the degree, then I have success. Okay, that's a thing, right? You accomplish that.
Right.
So it's I guess for me, I think it's physical.
Mm-hmm. And I think it is a feeling. Because let's just go off of your example, right? You go to college and you get a degree and then you have success, right? In theory, you did accomplish something and that was successful, right? You accomplished it, you check marked it off, woohoo, good job. You did the thing.
Way to go. You have that.
How many people go and check mark those things, they get there and they do this thing that is supposed to be success, and they don't feel anything any different. Mm-mm. So in my theory, success is actually a feeling. It's the feeling you get after you accomplish something, because you can go accomplish something that somebody tells you, go get a college degree, and not feel a huge success or anything different changed in your life at all. And so at that point, is it really success?
You know what I think I'm figuring out in this situation right now is I think we're told that success is a physical thing. I mean, you just looked at the definition. It said it was a noun, right? Which makes me think that I am correct and you are wrong. Which, by the way, folks, gentlemen, husbands, sons, we are hardly ever right.
Okay, well, it also says the good or bad outcome. So good or bad is a...
Right. It's a feeling.
Right.
I'm kind of wondering if maybe we have been trained in school. I used to be a high school teacher, so I think I can speak on this because I think we did this to our students. We're trained to think that if you accomplish a thing, then thus you are successful. But I think there's plenty of people in this world, and I can even relate to even part times in my life where I did accomplish something. Felt good for 5 minutes.
Right.
I didn't feel successful afterwards. Then I was looking for what's next. What do I have to do now? And you know what? That's kind of a crappy feeling. Like, wait. I just accomplished this.
Mm-hmm.
I should feel full. I should feel accomplished. Mm-hmm. Why am I immediately turned into looking for something else? Because in school, it was like, it's test day. Everyone takes their test. And what is the first... Come on. If you were ever in a school building, you know what's coming. The teacher said, as soon as you finish your test, turn it in and then go grab the pretest or the study guide for the next chapter. Like, you just accomplished an exam, and then they're already giving you all the work that's going into the next thing. And I think that's wrong. I think the education system did an injustice by training people to not, hey, let's enjoy the moment of success here. Now, there are other things. Because when I coached track at the end of the track season, it was success. Whether you got medals or not, all the kids were like, holy moly, I ran every meet. Right. I feel accomplished. And we didn't tell them, okay, practice next week. No, the season was over.
Right, like a school year. At the end of the school year, right, you have the big end of the year party, celebration, graduation, all of that. And so there is a sense of success for completing that grade level. And then what happens after that? Summer, and you take a break.
Oh, not if you're in AP classes. Oh, no AP classes. You got summer book reading lessons.
Well, speaking from as an AP student, you still took a break. As an AP student, even though you have books to read and summer things to do, it was a break.
Oh, so you read half of them the week before school started? And
we're not talking about me, because I was an AP student that just did things, I think they call them those little yellow cliff notebooks. That's how I rolled through it. But, there was plenty of AP students that actually did the work they were supposed to do in the summertime. But it was still a break. You still had a break. You accomplished your grade level. There was a break, and then you started something new. And like you said, I don't think that, I think in the school year, you take your test, and then you turn your thing in, and you immediately start looking for that next thing, right? And that next thing is that next assignment, that next thing you have to know, that next thing you have to do. And to a degree, that robs you sometimes of being able to sit in and feel the feeling of success for the test that you just took.
So do you think our society today, and we're in America, this is the year, what year are we in? 2023? 2023. But do you think society in general today has a problem with feeling satisfaction and success?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think we have become accustomed to determining our success on things. So the next test, the next assignment, the college graduation, the college degree hanging on the wall, the house, the kids, the number of kids, so
it sounded like consumerism a
little bit, yeah. And sometimes we forget to stop and feel the feeling. You could get a job making $100K a year, and you could do that job, and you could feel so empty inside because it's accounting when you're really, an artist. And so you do the job and you make $100K a year, but it's just kind of like a machine going through the motions. And in society, people look at you and they're like, oh, she's successful. Look at that career she has. Look at that car she has. Look at that life she has. Look at how she's got it all together. And inside, you don't really feel anything. So at that point, that's where my argument is, what is success? Success is actually when you have the feeling of being accomplished or, achieving something, rather than these things that we have been grown accustomed to thinking success is. Success is not actually, the house, that big mansion. Success is the feeling that you feel when you do something, when you achieve something, when you accomplish something. That's my argument.
I'm coming to your side. I'm getting this. I'm starting to feel it.
Oh, yes.
Here's what I think. I think you're right. I think what has happened is we've been taught to run the rat race for whatever reasons it happens to be, whether it's capitalistic and success equals money, or there's no time to be stagnant and blah blah blah. But I think the problem is, hold on before I get to this next part. I think it's okay if you're the type of person that you complete something and then you have a success. It doesn't mean you can't just go into your next thing and do it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
The problem is we haven't been taught to accept the feeling of accomplishment and to reflect what has made us feel good from our achievements and what we've done, that we essentially go into the next chapter empty.
Absolutely.
And so we run out of gas.
Yep.
I would be surprised if you did studies. I don't read studies, people. But I imagine
I do.
If I read a study about burnout, this is probably the premise. This is probably really what gets people to a burnout stage. And you know what? I can even think, because I'm a high achiever. I was always, with the way that I grew up, my parents, they knew I had it, oh, he's going to be fine. He's got his thing going. But I still needed pats in the back. I still needed to know that I was noticed and stuff. And so I always went into high achiever mode and, oh, let me do this for you and do this and do this and do this and do this, which just goes into a whole scheme of just being codependent to people and I always felt like I took my heart and said, here's my heart on the table. Do with it as you please because I just want to make you happy.
And along the way, you wanted them to think what?
Oh, what a great guy. Wow, man. Awesome work. Oh, fantastic. And people would say that.
Right.
And I would still feel like crap.
Right.
I still wasn't fulfilled because I was doing things for other people and not myself. And I think we get taught in school, come on. You are not going to, if you have all your presents memorized in order. I used to give this quiz to kids. It is not going to make or break you in a job interview.
No.
It's not. I got to a certain point before I was like, I'm done. This is a system. I'm not doing this. There's something got to be better. I told my students, if you can Google the answer, it will never be on my exam. And everything was open-ended. They just got open-ended questions. And I said, you pick 3 that you want to answer and answer them fully. And that's all I cared about. And I think in real adult life, it's like that. You get choices.
Right.
But the problem is we should be allowed to accept good feelings for ourselves. Why should we not be happy? Whether we got a C or a B or an A, we accomplished this. Let's celebrate.
Right.
Let's take time to reflect and see what we did that was good, that got us to better places. Let's relax. Let's go do something fun. You've earned it.
Right.
It's like a cheat day. People are like, oh, I worked out all week. Now I get ice cream. You should get to enjoy the interim period.
Right.
The periods between your situations that go to your next success.
Right. And I think that is a key thing. The student that gets a C, they could feel loads of success for the fact that they showed up and they took the test and they got a grade.
Right.
And I think somewhere along the way we have determined in our mind the grade that we need to get is the one that they tell us is the one we need to get, which is an A.
Which just creates a type of pressure that's kind of sick and toxic.
Right. And so at that point, we all start getting on this hamster wheel of looking for what they're telling us success is, right? Success is getting an A on your test. And when we're on this hamster wheel of what they're telling us success is, we think when we get there, then we're successful. And so then we just keep chasing all these things throughout our life as we age and as we grow up. That is what they said success was. And so for us in our life, we grew up, being told that college is what you have to do. College is where you've got to go. College is how you're going to be successful. And if you don't, then you're going to be flipping burgers at McDonald's, you know?
Yeah, it was like we had two options.
Right.
College,
success.
you become successlife,
right.
or you were a lowlife.
Right. Flipping burgers. Are you okay with flipping burgers at McDonald's? You know, and so at that point, we're looking to satisfy what the accomplishment that they say that the world has predetermined is success. And when we hit those accomplishments, we don't actually feel success.
Well, because we're not allowed to take a break and reflect on the feeling of being accomplished. Because let's be honest, like we all had subjects in school that we liked more than others. In one subject, you get a C and you're like, I'm just happy I got a C to pass class. And another subject, the A was very fulfilling because the subject was, it just came easy to you because you were all into it. But I feel like we get into the rat race of getting to successful careers. Do we not get dragged into careers that we then end up hating because it doesn't fulfill our passions?
Right. Like for us, we were told we needed to go to college. That was success. And so that's where we went. And that's what we did. And when we were in college, I got to my very last thing, the internship, and I was already determined, you know, this doesn't feel like success. I understand I'm the first one to actually get the degree in my family, and I understand that I, you know, chose this major that is very fulfilling and very life-changing and very needed and all of these things, but this just isn't feeling like something for me. You know, I showed up, I did the work, but I don't know, there's the success and the joy factor that I feel like I was supposed to feel is not here. And so, whereas for you, it was a little different. At that point in college, or I guess at the, you know, graduation day, I recognized, no, this isn't it. This isn't it. And so I started exploring, like, well, what is it? Because what they said is what I did, and it's not here, bro. Right. I think I drank the wrong Kool-Aid. I heard the instructions wrong. I'm not sure, because I did everything that they said, and now here I am at the finish line at the very end. I mean, I got the thing. I'm done. And I don't feel success. Yeah. And so at that point is when I was like, no, you know, I'm not even going to use this degree. I'm actually going to go over here and try this thing that feels a little fun, that sounds a little bit more realistic, that has, you know, more potential, that actually fits my schedule more, you know? It actually feels like it's going to work out better for me. And that is where I started feeling success. And that's when I transferred into, I'm going to do business. I'm not talking about like a business degree. I did not get a business degree. I got a degree in counseling.
You don't, if you didn't know, you don't need a business degree to go into business.
Right. So at that point, I was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this small business thing, right? And so then that's where I transferred. I mean, I didn't transfer anywhere. I just like graduated and was like, okay, let's try this now. And that's what I started doing. And now, over 16 years later.
A lot of years
later and multiple businesses later, I can honestly sit here and say that that path that I was given and told was success did not give me success. It was actually when I switched and started doing and operating out of working towards a life and things that felt good and felt fun and felt interesting and felt like growth and felt like something I wanted to be doing every day, rather than, you know, showing up and just being, you know, machine repeating every day a cycle.
You definitely got it faster than I did. I kind of feel like maybe I went back and forth. Part of my story that is very different than most people who became teachers was I actually was a full-time teacher while I was still obtaining my degree. I literally found a loophole by accident. I was transferring to another university while Whitney and I were dating, and I wanted to be closer to her, and I was like, well, why don't I just look for teacher assistant jobs? Like, it's like, well, if I can go work for a school doing something while I'm obtaining this degree, that makes sense, right? Go ahead and get the experience in the career field. And so I was applying to these like private Christian schools, and one of the schools was like, how would you like a full-time teaching position? And I was like, is that legal? and I know I got students listening to this, and so you're over here, oh, I know, Mr. Vance, I know what school he's talking about. Shout out to you guys. But I remember just thinking, like, this can't be legal. And then they were like, no, like, it's a private school. We kind of call our own shots. And I was, oh, that's awesome. It's like business.
Right.
It's like, oh, in order to work here, you have to have a degree and be certified, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Oh, okay. What if I go over on my own? Do I have to be? No, you don't, because you're the boss and you determine if you want degrees and certificates. And it's kind of like, oh, that's cool. And so I was like, okay, this is outside the box. I like this. This is cool. I'm a full-time teacher. I remember being in my education classes and I would say things and professors were like, wow, it's like you've been in the classroom. And I'm like, actually I am. I'm already teaching. And everyone was just like dumbfounded. How did you figure this out? And I'm like, I didn't. It was an accident. God just said, here, go here and have an interview. You're going to work here. But even then, I still got my degree. I still got my teaching license. And I remember when I got my teaching license, I was like walking around the school like, look, guys, I got it. I got it. I'm literally the only certified teacher working here. And they all kind of like, okay, good for you. And I'm like, really? This is success, baby. I should feel accomplished. And they were all like,
piece of paper.
Bro, we're all teachers. You don't have to have a degree or certificate to prove it.
They weren't saying bro.
They weren't saying bro. They were like, Brother Vance.
Yeah.
Man of God.
Okay. Anyway.
But
they
point,
were right.
And if I had listened to them, if I didn't get it. I still was stuck into this mindset of like, crank it out, baby.
Right.
Rat race it.
Right.
Get on to success. Go get that mortgage now. Mm-hmm. And it was like, if someone would just look at me and say, dude, man, don't you get it? You don't need that piece of paper to tell you you're successful. Mm-hmm. It's a feeling.
Right.
It's when your student comes to you and say, you made a difference in my life. And you're like, holy crap, I'm accomplished now.
Right.
I helped someone else make a difference.
Right.
Now I feel success.
Right.
And I wasn't even looking for it.
Right.
It was out of the random. Mm-hmm. I think that's a feeling.
Right.
Success is a feeling that you get.
I think that's what I said.
It.
No.
We shouldn't chase it.
So if you're finding yourself stuck in the cycle of, wait a minute, like, this sounds like me. I think I have done this. I think I am doing this. I think I'm stuck here. I think that's why I feel so empty inside and I feel so unfulfilled and I just feel like I'm waking up and some days I wonder, like, what is actually the purpose? Like, what is this? Like, why am I just here living Groundhog Day? Like, you know, that movie.
Yeah, you're chasing.
You repeat the same day.
A race.
Right. So I would say, if you find yourself stuck in this spot and this sounds like you, my greatest advice is to look and analyze, like, what is the feeling that you have in life? What part about the job that you do you feel like you love? What do you do in your day? What do you wish you could do with all of your time? Like, where do you feel that feeling of success in your life? If you could do anything and feel that, oh, I am so full and happy and content and feel so proud and feel, what would you be doing? Stop and look and really think about it. Where would you find that success feeling, that happy, fulfilled feeling in your life? And then start directing towards that rather than just staying stuck in spinning on the wheel and the cycle of achieving what it is that they say and showing up and just doing for someone else rather than actually doing for you.
Right, because like for me, when I would overachieve for other people and take on whatever it was with them, even when they said, good job, you did wonderful work, it just felt kind of yucky. Mm-hmm. It was like, it feels kind of like sick. Like, I hope they don't feel that way. And they typically don't. They don't typically see it that way. It's just you're internalizing the end result, the success, so-called noun, the subject, success. And it just doesn't feel good because it's how you went about to accomplish it. You did it for, like, other people's... you did it to get a compliment. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the worst part is when you do these things that you think people define success as, and you don't get accomplishment and you don't get recognition, and so you don't get from them what you thought you were gonna get by doing the thing that you actually never really wanted to do, never really felt right, never really felt normal, it just felt like what you were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And that's where we get stuck in feeling successfully.
Right. So before you jump into your next thing, you got to really ask yourself, what is the feeling you want out of it? And if you can't think of anything good, probably not the right place to go.
Right. And if it's something for someone else, or because someone else said, or because someone else did, that's probably not right for you.
Right. And if you're over here going like, okay, so I'm going to quit my job today. Well, hold on a second.
And when you get into business or this other thing that you think is, feels like where you want to go, then just remember, you have to keep this process up. You have to keep thinking, does this feel happy? Does this feel like joy? Does this feel like, so that you don't get trapped back into this rat race or chasing the dollar bills or, these other things that don't really actually fulfill you.
Yeah.
When you actually get fulfilled and when you're actually doing your passion and your purpose, the money just comes. So if you just focus on feeling fulfilled and feeling in alignment and feeling like you're going in the direction that you actually love to be in, then the money is just going to come to you.
And passion typically comes from what we call your true self. So it's who you really are, that younger inner person, or your inner creative genius. And then you have purpose, which is what you do with it to help other people. Purpose is oftentimes like an assignment, and that will change from time to time. So what you do now may not be what you're going to do in the future. Right. And what you do in the future may not be what you do long term. We've had multiple businesses, and we had to kind of we're like, we feel a shift here. And so you have to make sure you go off of feeling of what you want, what is fun. So we really hope that this topic of success really helped you kind of come to some things and kind of get some ideas of what you want to go to going in the future. So we appreciate you listening to this podcast. If you have a moment, make sure that you give us a review and share this to with someone else.
Well, hey, creative friends, we hope you enjoyed today's episode and you go take action in your business.
If you really enjoyed this episode, we hope that you definitely subscribe to us. And if you know some creative friends out there, go ahead and share to them. For next time, we'll be here, same time, same place.